day, gentlemen. Good day, everybody. This is Sanjeev Mehra from the Institute of Marine Engineers, and we have with us today Mr. Ramamurthy and Mr. Rajiv Nair. Over to you, Rajiv, sir.
Thanks, Sanjeev. It's indeed a pleasure and, of course, a privilege to be speaking to a person I've admired for a long time and to share with you the first time I really interacted with him was at the time of WMTC. He was the head of the technical committee at that time, and I was sort of, you could call his understudy or something. I was helping him, making sure that before the event, each and every technical session, the introductions of all the speakers are in place. And that exposure gave me an insight into how meticulous planning Mr. Ramamurthy does. And to top it all, this was all with his office still going on full-fledged. In those days, I recollect he would be shuttling between office and the venue, but office work went on and this went on, and it was a fantastic experience. So it's indeed a pleasure to be talking to you, sir. The President Shipping, Head of Marine and Ports, Reliance Industry Limited, Mr. Ramamurthy. Sir, over to you, sir. Let us know how you became a marine engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev Mehra and Mr. Rajiv Nair. It is my pleasure talking to you this evening. It's very nice that I'm undergoing this session with you people. To introduce myself, I'm a mechanical engineering graduate and joined the first batch of training marine engineers in Shipping Corporation of India. In 1968, gradually rose to the position of Chief Engineer Officer by 1973. Served as Chief Engineer for about 3 years. You'll be surprised. In the total floating staff period of 7 years, 3 months with the SCI, I was on board the ship for 7 years. Which is sometimes something unthinkable at this time. That means hardly I had any leave for my tickets as well as for being with my family. I finished all of them so short, so I could do about 7 years in my 7 years, 3 months, including my tickets. In between, I got a fellowship from Norway for a 2-year postgraduate study in international shipping inspection, that's what it was called. And it is basically on naval architecture as well as shipbuilding. And the training in the classification aspects as well as other aspects, practical training. I completed that and came back to SCI. They appointed me immediately as a superman in the fleet management division. I was in the fleet management division, which is part of the technical services division, also handling new buildings. Then, after some time there, I was in Japan for about 1.5 years for the inspection of 2 of the best vessels of SCI, CV Raman and Homi Baba, which I had done during my supervision there. Then came back to SCI. Then I had to leave SCI because of the reason that they stopped offering accommodation afterwards. So I left and joined the LNG, Lawson and Tudor. Same for shipbuilding. Again, I was in Japan for another about a year or so, built their vessels. And afterwards, they are managing their vessels also. After that, I left LNG and joined Reliance. I'm completing now 30 years in Reliance. And I was instrumental in starting the shipping and ports activities for Reliance, not only in Azira, at Dahej as well as in Jammu. 3 of the ports and marine activities in Reliance Limited, which is the Gujarat Coast of India. And I have been heading the shipping and business right from the beginning. So now 30 years completing. Still, I'm a full-time employee. Full-time employee of Reliance Industries Limited. And that is how it is. I'm completing 74 years, rather completed 74 years, and I'm into 74 years. I had a very successful career, very satisfying career, both in my office where I work, also in the maritime industry of India. In all sectors of maritime industry, I have been there. And one of the unique satisfaction for me is I was salvage master for national cause for ships. One of the things where I was given the charge to, and the grounded ship was, given charge to me to remove it from packages, which I did as salvage master. I did also help for the vessel which was grounded on Ratnagiri, which was about 8,500 tons of duty. And also for my own country, my own company, I did 2 salvages and helped in various other salvages wherever required. So that was one of my unique experiences as an engineer, and where I could give my expertise on various aspects of ships and various aspects of ports, marine, and others. That's my this one. And it is totally, I'm completing 53 years after my graduation. Full-time employee. And this is it, nothing else. Only
Yes.
shipping, only marine, only ports.
It really is an eye-opener. More than half a century. It's really amazing, sir. I know we have learned a lot from you. Would you like to share some thoughts about the technical committees? IRS, you were the chairman of the technical committee for a long period, sir. How about some views on that?
I have been chairman of the technical committee for last 16 years plus, and without any break. I came into contact with IRS in 1984 because of my experience in classification aspects. I was invited to be a member for the committee in rule making process. So I know them from 1974. Almost I'm attending their technical committee as an invited member and as a member from 1984. And I became, chairman of the committee, vice chairman of the committee in 2002 and 2004 onwards. I'm the chairman of the technical committee. It's a very unique experience because IRS technical committee is completely technical wisdom, though commercial aspects involved. So you are only looking at the technical wisdom, and the colleagues there and the committee members there, they are the best what you can have in India for technical matters. You have been there many times, Mr. Rajiv Nair, and there are other people. So it is really a meeting of people with extensive technical knowledge, not only on shipping, but on marine terminals and various other aspects, classification rules, IMO rules. Because I was also all the time working along with DG, Director General of Shipping, most of the rules of Director General of Shipping, I used to make for them, rather initiate for them. All the rules what we made for the MS rules, many of them I have put my inputs during strategies time also before also, other people's time also. So because of that, I could also be invited by the DG for attending IMO. So I attended about 15 times IMO as an Indian delegate, including conventions, correspondence, meetings, as well as the working committee, including a drafting committee also. I have done all of them. So that is also a unique experience. In India, seldom you get a chance to keep attending as an Indian delegate in meetings like IMO, because either you should have a special law or you should be in that slot at that particular time. Otherwise, rather difficult. One of my colleagues who is attending regularly was attending and now again attending, whereas I left it, is Mr. Ayers. But he is still attending. So we are one of the two who have been attending for a long time. Of course, I stopped attending because I wanted younger people to take. I was also the chairman of the technical committee and the insurance and legal committee of INSA for quite some time. And I had actually handed over to Mr. Ian Bose, but I found that my hair is not only gone white, it is not shining. So I said, it's time to leave.
Amazing, sir. This is real technical know-how which you had in these. I know another very favorite subject with you is that it's not all technical. Yes, I think INSA was an exposure which was a bit away from technical, what would be your insights into other marine engineers regarding this growth we can look at beyond technical, sir?
I see one of the main things about me, I wanted to qualify further after becoming chief engineer for a few years. That is 1 or 2 years. Actually, my initial one was to do PhD with Newcastle upon Tyne in shipping and shipbuilding. Unfortunately, we could not get that funds. Though I got admission, I could not do it. Then I thought, if we cannot do that, let us divorce. You'll be surprised. The entire Norwegian government fellowship I did out of my leave. When I joined the fellowship, I had 765 days leave. And 2 years I did out of my leave, still I had about 30, 40 days leave. Completely paid by SCI, completely paid by Norwegian government also. Including for me, for my family, my car, my house, everything. So this was my ambition, that continue working and doing it. Then I thought, what is the best alternative? Qualify yourself in finance. Expose yourself to law. These are the things which I did actually. I qualified from UK, from the Association of Certified Accountants. And I passed a diploma in finance, financial planning, accounting, management, accountancy, and taxation. It came very, very useful to me. For middle management people, you should have additional qualifications and additional knowledge to take you through. Mere technical knowledge is not going to help you. You require administrative knowledge, financial, certain knowledge, and also certain commercial knowledge. You should get into that. Is very important. As a marine engineer, and little bit you will be unhappy when you make this statement, but it is true that we don't see either the land or the sea or the sky. At sea, you don't see the land. You don't see the sea because you hardly come out. Neither you see the sky when you don't come up. So this is where, see, wherever you work, you will always have, if not one competitive stream, there will be, if not 2 or more competitive stream, there will be at least one. So that's what we have also in navigation stream we have in our ships. So they have exposure to administrative, commercial, and they are also able to interact more compared to an engineer with agents, with the corporate authorities, and various other things. So this is, if you don't get it on the ship as a chief engineer, you should get it outside. It's very important. And this is what will take you further.
I think that's a very important message which the budding engineers, marine engineers who are watching can take. And I think you said it, the sky is not the limit for this if you want to do it. Sir, finally, what message for the Institute of Marine Engineers? You have been a president also here, sir.
See, I am in an organization where the buck stops with me for my field, my domain. So, where in this particular company, it's not just shipping. We are part of many other things. We do a lot of work on terminals. We do many things. We solve difficulties of the plants also. So the exposure is a lot, not just shipping. So main thing is, as a marine engineer, unless you want to continue your life at sea as chief engineer only, we have ambitions to do a sure career. You have to qualify for some of these, either maritime law or chartering, commercial, or see, only surveyor. Surveyor is a good thing, but that is still technical. Unless you rise to the top, like Mr. Sharma, you are not going to deal with many outside aspects of engineering. So, if you are going to retire as a senior principal surveyor or something like that, still you are doing technical only all the time. You don't have much of commercial aspects to do that. Same thing when you do a repair job. Same thing when you do a new building. You come to know a lot of things, but slowly you will find those days are gone. When I was a new building representative of the company, I used to handle everything, including the commercial, money, all that, paying out, everything. But not today. Today, you know very well, Mr. Rajiv Nair, you are in this field. Many of these have been taken over, including signing the contract, which we used to do at will.
Yes.
We were also a rebuilding man, so we used to do at will, the way we used to do everything, and nobody required to put a chapa on it. But today it is not so. There are so many people in the commercial and other areas. See, companies have got separate divisions for marine projects, separate divisions for new building, separate divisions for contracts, separate division for various other things. So your area is getting limited. And finally, if you going to remain only as nuts and bolts man, I put in inverted commas, it is not going to come. So if you want to come very much high in this, you have to choose your company, you have to choose your area, you have to choose your specialization, and you must always keep on kicking yourself hard so that you go up. It is important. For that, the navigating officers have got a much better chance than an engineer. But engineer has got much more, you can say, capability. It's the only thing how they use it.
Great word, sir. And what about the institute, sir? Where would you like to see the institute heading now?
See, I was also the president. I was the past president of the institute. And as you said, WMTC, one of the best in my career, where I single-handedly I could do that technical one without, and it was one of the best, you can say, seminars. With all of them research papers, all of them new. And it was 52 papers we presented. We were there during that time. With all the, flamboyant, ways of doing things, and people from all over the world. After that, probably that brought me into the chair of the president. A lot of people, past people, have done wonderful jobs. Actually speaking, I went through Mr. Saraswat's interview. It's very nicely mentioned about how difficult it was to form an institute and do that. My number is 00018. I was also one of the first members to join the Institute of Marine Engineering. I was at that time member of the London Institute also. I became fellow at the age of 31 where I was. And afterwards, I left that and joined here. Institute was growing up well, it has grown up well. From nowhere, it came to a good, you can say, future. And today also it is growing up well. But things are, getting difficult everywhere. If you see, it is not something I'm trying to compare out of will or out of anything else or envy. We grew up very well compared to a competitive organization like CMMI. See, we had initially the funds, we got more membership, we got everything. But somehow in the last 4 years, we see CMMI has been doing wonderfully well. We have little bit gone behind. That is maybe due to various other things. Sometimes you find a shortage of people, shortage of area, shortage of this one. So it happens. Growing up is very easy. Sustaining after the growth is little difficult. People are thinking very well. So we actually have to sustain. We have to again push ourselves hard. So we cannot say, I ran the race and I am stopping now. No. We have to be prepared for the next race. And that is what I am telling. The future is always there for marine engineers. Marine engineers are unique lot. Neither they are mechanical engineer, nor they are electrical engineer, nor they are electronic engineers. If you take my field, nor they are chemical engineers. I can compete with anybody as a chemical engineer. There's no problem. So we have actually a lot of things all pushed into in one slot. And so marine engineers are the best of future. Probably they are the best of core engineers in the core capacity, as well as the best of engineers in out of the box thinking also. So I think that marine engineers got a very, very bright future. The only thing is they have to selectively now look for the forward path. And that is how it is. You see our first president and our first IRS chairman, Mr. Thaneja, one of the person is still doing wonderfully. He's safety, whatever documents he's sending like that. So you can choose your avenue and do that. Can be done. I see a very bright future if people take it that way and do that. People may say that in India we don't innovate anything, we don't do anything. It's unfortunate that India has got a lesser opportunity for research. Question came up also in one of those meetings last week. So That is what I see. So many engineers need not feel never regretted for the path they have chosen. They have chosen the best path what they can have, and they have a very bright future. It is for them to go into that future and build that future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for these wonderful insights and giving us a lot of food for thought. It's been a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thank you. Over to you, Sanjeev.
Thank you very much for coming and spending some time with us. Appreciate same, sir. So we take your leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.